All right, so tell us your first and last name for us and spell it out.
Patrick Seaux, that's Patrick. Last name Seaux.
Well, great, Patrick. Thank you so much for joining us today for Community Quotes. Tell me a little bit about your childhood. Where did you grow up and what was it like?
I was born in a town called La Village de Crédeurs. That's the small village of the Crédeurs, which is over there by Bosco.
Okay.
Born there, but lived out in the country. My birth was kind of unusual. My mother had gotten up to go to the bathroom, and I was born as she was walking.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, a lot of, back then there was a lot of, what is that, the person that helps the
A
mother?
housewife or a midwife.
A midwife,
Midwife,
yeah.
yeah.
So they called them her later, but that's how I was born.
Well, that was quick.
Yes.
So you were in a hurry to get out.
Actually, I was the seventh son.
Oh, seventh son. Wow.
Yes. And I was the last one
Okay.
to be born. And
So you were the baby of 7 children.
I was a baby, yeah.
Would you consider
Well,
yourself to be spoiled?
Not really,
No.
no, not really. No. My mother believed in, spare the rod, spoil the child. Now, my father didn't. He didn't lay a hand on me. But, yeah.
Well, having that many siblings and that big of a family, I would presume you had errands to do or chores around the house.
Not at that age.
Okay.
I was just a young kid that didn't really do. My older brothers did. They had to do things, but they tormented me also.
Did they?
Yeah, yeah. But they got payback from my father.
Gotcha, gotcha. Where did you go to school?
Started off at a place called Rain High. Well, Rain Elementary, and then I went to Rain High for a while. Left. We moved to Lafayette and came back and to Rain and went back to Rain High until I was a sophomore. Then went back to Lafayette. My parents were separated, by the way.
Okay.
Yeah. They were divorced. Yeah, ran away from my father to go to my mother because my mother promised me peanut butter sandwiches.
So it was worth it for you.
Oh, baby, was it ever? Back then, yeah. That's kind of different.
Okay. So after school or high school, what did you do?
After high school, I went into the military. I went to the Air Force. I started off as law enforcement, then I went into K-9. So I went to Texas for training. From Texas, left there and went to, first place was Thailand. And, well, take it back. First place was Hawaii, then Thailand. And then Vietnam, and then back to Thailand. And then came home. And then 30 days later, I went back.
You were there during the Vietnam conflict?
Yes.
Yes. Do you want to talk about that experience?
Not really. Not really. I'm also PTSD also.
Okay.
So, yeah, there was combats and this,
It had an impact on you?
Yeah, definitely did.
Yeah. After you had the military experience, what did you do?
I became a manager,
Okay.
fast food for McDonald's. Then I went to, sorry about that. Then I went to Burger King, And then I went to one called Burger Chef in Virginia.
Mm-hmm.
And I did that for about 17 years also,
Oh, wow.
all combined. And then I was the area marketing manager for Burger King.
Mm-hmm.
And then Burger King sold Louisiana and some other states to a company called Chart House. I don't know if you ever heard of them, but anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And then Citron, and then a myriad of different companies
Gotcha.
that were within the whole corporation.
Mm-hmm.
Did that, and then came back to Lafayette. I'm sorry. This was in Baton Rouge.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Baton Rouge, came back to Lafayette
Mm-hmm.
and worked for them for quite a while.
Okay.
Then, after that, I worked for an abrasive company.
Okay.
I don't mean, you know what abrasives are? Probably not, right? People call it sandpaper.
Okay.
Sand has nothing to do with it.
Right.
It's actually man-made abrasives, like aluminum oxide, silicon carbide, ceramics and all that. So we manufactured product here in Lafayette,
Mm-hmm.
a Premier Abrasive. And then Premier Abrasive was bought by Seaux and then Capco. These are different companies that were part of Seaux at the time. Anyway, I did sales, and just went around and contacted different companies using abrasives.
Mm-hmm.
And we sold 54-inch belts.
Okay.
Yeah, that they use for like sanding boards,
Mm-hmm.
plywood, weatherboard. I could go on and on, but
Right.
yeah.
Right. Well, it sounds completely contrasting from the food industry.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was. Yeah, it was.
Good.
And when I left that, I went to marketing for a religious company.
Okay.
Yeah, Gabriel Holy Land.
Mm-hmm.
We were in the Brothers Shopping Center here in Lafayette. And same thing, just sales, marketing, and kind of starting it out because it was new.
Mm-hmm.
They came from Michigan down to Lafayette, but they had a history of knowing the people here in
Okay.
Lafayette.
Well, let me ask you this because I'd like to know more about your history with AOC. I did ask you before we started the interview about how long you've been a member here, and you told me 18 years approximately, which is wonderful. Tell me how you first got involved with AOC and why you got involved.
The reason for AOC was I wanted to produce a Christian television program.
Mm-hmm.
And the church that I was going to didn't have any kind of outward way of doing their messages. They didn't promote it outwardly.
Mm-hmm.
So I got involved. I did the church bulletin, got involved with that. And then when I started, I knew some people. My son also was doing things with AOC. And he kind of piqued me into, well, you know, we could do a program. So I went ahead and got all my producer stuff out of the way and started producing the program when it was tape. It wasn't little zip.
Right.
It was tape. And that was long. Those,
Sure.
Oh yeah, that was
What was the name of your show?
Christian Life.
Christian Life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I also did a Spanish show. If I can remember how to pronounce it, it's been quite a while. Cervico Español. In fact, I think somebody still has it on.
Mm-hmm.
Or that's what's weird. You know, they did. It's like you're broadcasting a program, but what they call it, the bottom part of where you say the program, it's
Right.
not the program,
Oh.
it's something totally else. It's like, you know, Ed said that it's like, it's hard to get them on the same page of the
Sure.
programs, you
Sure.
know.
What was your first impression of AOC back in the day to now? The way that technology has
Oh,
evolved.
well, yeah, tremendous difference. Like I said, you know, back then it was like reel to reel. It's kind of editing, and the studios were kind of rough back then.
Sure.
But I worked on backdrops for the studio. I did all kind of things. Did the guest room as the guests come in. There was a room that I designed, so it would be a nice place for them to sit and wait for their program to come on. And then just different things around the studio. But it's so, you know, there wasn't TriCaster back then. You know, there's. It was neat. I mean, the way it was progressing was good, because they weren't staying there. As the technology came into being, we started gathering it, you know, and started training people and getting them aware and how to, you know, kind of do away with a lot of bottlenecks, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. Try to get away from that. So yeah, it was great. You know, and the guys who were working, like William, he's still here, my memory's shot.
That's okay.
You know who I'm talking about? The guy,
Matt.
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 Matt. I met Matt when he had a band. I don't know if you knew about.
I've heard about the band.
Yeah, yeah. I keep asking him, why don't you start playing music again? No,
Yeah.
it's like, yeah, I knew when they were in school, so it's been a while back, and that was back there. So when we had the opportunity to come here, it was like tremendous, you know, because all the technology that we have now, you know. Now we have talking head studios, and now we have a full-blown studio, you know. And then we have the cameras to go with it, you know. We have all the technology. And then the editing, the training, all those things have advanced to keep up with what's going on technology-wise. So that's encouraging, because they're not, you know, just sitting and, oh, well, this is what we got, so yeah, okay, it's broken, don't fix it. You know, so it's a lot different. Yeah. And the people who, like Ed, you know, he's, and I love him, he's just a tremendous guy, you know.
He is.
Yeah.
He is.
Yeah.
So are there any projects in the future that you'd like to work on at AOC, or is this pretty much your main focus?
Actually, it's funny that you should say that, because yeah, I've thought about doing a program, a Christian program, and possibly doing a musical program with different players around the city. Not so much, well, maybe as a showcase for them, you know, for them. Do we still do the radio?
Yes.
What's the name of it?
Cypress Street Radio.
Yeah, good. It's caught on, which is neat. Anyway, though, yeah, a couple of those, and possibly I've been trying to get a. She's a no, not a herbologist. She's a doctorate of, like, what is it? I'm sorry, my
That's
memory.
okay.
Yeah, medication messes me up. Anyway, she does homeopathic.
Okay.
Yeah. So to get her to come and give the knowledge that she has. It's you ever hear you ever hear Tet Dud?
Yes, hardhead.
You got it. But anyway, yeah, I would only want to do somebody who feels comfortable in doing it. I thought about a program called, it was on a radio program, it was called To Every Man an Answer, where you had three pastors and people would call in with different questions of the Bible, and you would have three of them being able to dissect, and give the answer that might not be the answer you want, but will be the answer that's biblical,
Right.
Yeah.
I'm going to switch gears a little bit.
And second or first?
Third.
We're cruising now.
If you could spend one day in someone else's shoes, who would it be and why?
Well, somebody who wears a size 11 want to fit. Whose shoe would I want to be in?
And it could be living or deceased. It could be someone from the past, someone, a historical figure, celebrity.
Yeah. I read the question that was sent to me, and because of what's in here, my answer would be, I'm sorry for the microphone. I can't be in his shoes, but I like to be in the shoes of somebody who followed him, like Peter, James, one of those that would be a follower of Jesus, and to be in for one day back in the day. But the persecution, I know, is there. So those are the things I have to think. Could I take it? Could I take the persecution? Right now, sitting here, I say, yeah, I could do it. But sitting back then,
right,
it might be like Peter, he denied him 3 times. So.
Well, with religion being an important part of your life, what would you say you've learned the most, and what's the most important lesson in life that you've learned so far?
Forgiveness.
Expand more on that.
Well, 2 things, actually, forgiveness and mercy. Because the way we treat each other requires both of those things, no matter what. If you're married or if you're on the street and you run across somebody who needs help, or just somebody, hey, how are you doing? If you're driving a car and somebody cuts you off, is our first reaction is wham, right?
Right.
If your mindset is on the humanistic side of it. But if you're truly within the Spirit, then the Spirit will guide you to not be that one that comes out, but more of, they might have cut you off because they were in a rush because their mother's in the hospital, their wife is in the hospital, something we don't know about that's taking place. So we have to forgive, and we have to practice mercy on the people that we're constantly in contact with, because mercy is all about forgiveness.
Within your church, have you done any type of missionary type work or nonprofit work, helping do outreach in the community?
Yes.
Okay, tell me more about that.
No, I refuse. Here's the thing. Have you ever read the Bible?
Yes.
Okay. You ever read the part that says, don't let your left hand know what your right hand is doing?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, that's how I feel about that.
Okay.
Is that me telling you, you know, about all the things, interacting and what I've done, it wasn't for reward, and it's not for me to broadcast it to anybody. It's my Father knows what I've done. So,
Mm-hmm.
so that in itself, I, you know, when people go around, well, we did this, we did that. Well, he
You're
said,
not doing it for the publicity.
yeah,
right?
but you know what he says, right? You have your reward.
Mm-hmm.
When you open your mouth and spout out all the things that you've done,
Mm-hmm.
your reward is, that's it.
Right.
He's not going to reward you for that. He's going to reward you for the silence.
Mm-hmm.
So, anyway, I could go on, but I don't, because
No, that's a very humble response, and
Well,
a very good
it's-
response. If you could have dinner with
yes,
anyone,
yeah. Well, hold on.
Okay.
What kind of dinner?
it could be a barbecue.
Ooh.
It could be whatever you want. You're the
Ooh.
chef.
Well, I am a chef.
Oh, are you? So you're preparing a meal, and you can invite anyone, living or deceased, to the table. Who would you invite?
Oh, only one person. Only one. Jesus that would be it.
What would you ask him if he would be in front of you?
Oh, are you kidding? What would I ask him? Man, there was so many things that would just blow your mind. I mean, it's like it said in the Bible. If everything that he did was written, there wouldn't be enough books to keep it, to hold all the information.
Mm-hmm.
So most people say, well, you know, why did you die? You know, you could have just waved your hand and everything would have been A-OK. The thing of it is, we needed salvation, okay? Because we're horrible at it. So God's law required a sacrifice, and he was a sacrifice, the spotless one, nothing on him, and that's what saved us. And those are the things that you know, but there's other things like, well, how was it working with your father as a carpenter?
Mm-hmm.
You know, simple questions, not life-changing questions,
Mm-hmm.
unless you want to know, what's it all about? Well, what's it all about is God's plan for our salvation, to go and be with him forever and ever. That's his plan.
What's the one thing about you that no one else knows?
No one else knows?
Or that few people know, that you wouldn't mind saying on camera?
Oh. About me? That no one else knows.
Like any fears or phobias or
Phobias? Oh, airplanes.
airplanes?
Yeah, that's part of my PTSD.
I see.
My wife knows.
Mm-hmm.
You know, my wife knows.
Oh, let's switch gears again.
Yes.
What about music? What type of music do you like to listen to, or movies or TV shows that you like to watch, as far as entertainment? What are some of your
music?
favorite things?
Music. I play music.
You play music. What
Yeah.
instrument do you play?
I play keyboard, guitar. In fact, I was working on a guitar before I came here,
Gotcha.
and I'm still having problems with. I'm going to have to take it to a friend of mine, Kevin over at Profferni's. Yeah, I play keyboard. I have 10 guitars. Not bragging, but just fascinated with it, because most of the guitars I have are cheap, that I bought just to find out the quality of them and see if you could improve on them by pickups and necks and making intonation all perfect and stuff. So I found out, yeah, the $100 guitars that I bought are, you know, if you just...
Do you write your own music, or do you
Yes.
play? Okay.
Oh yeah, I do. Yeah.
What are your songs about?
Christianity. In fact, a friend of mine, we're going to work on. He's a lead guitar player. I played with him when I was at church, and he's left the church, and but he plays guitar. He's really improved a lot. I mean, tremendous amount. So, him and I, this past Saturday, played, and he wants to help me with the songs that I've written. I've got 4 songs as far as I've got older songs, but these are newer songs. Upbeat, some of them are kind of uplifting, because it takes you from where you're at and brings you through the process of knowing that God, through Jesus Christ, can take you from brokenness to being totally healed. Those kind of songs, and upbeat songs also. This different, because I'm not a, this is what I do, and I only do it in an A minor chord, and I don't use anything else.
Right.
I want upbeat, and so I have a keyboard. It's a recording studio that I have in a room. Not big enough, but never big enough.
So musically, who were people that influenced you?
When I was growing up, Otis Redding, back the soul music back in the day, when I was a teenager, all those it wasn't anything Christian. It was all what people call secular. But a friend of mine told me that the music that's not vulgar, but just different happy or sad songs or whatever, you know, they're all coming from a source that, a musical thing. You know, people connect on a musical level like nothing else, you know. Nothing else. It can make you cry, happy, you know, you name it. All this spectrum of humanity, you know, takes place in music. So, anyway, I'm rambling now.
No. I'm looking for those long answers. It sounds like your faith has carried you through many times in your life. How did that begin? Were your parents Christian and brought you up with this background, or is it something that you discovered later on in life?
Well, my dad, no, he didn't go to church. My mom went to church, but I was raised a Catholic. You know, I was baptized and went through all the stations, confirmation, Holy Communion, and all that good stuff. That was what I was raised. My mom took me to church, and I became an altar boy, Catholic church. I became an altar boy at a church called St. Patrick's. So kind of go.
Yeah.
Anyway, I was there for a few years. I learned the Mass in Latin, so that's kind of different. Anyway, from there, went through sin, just, you know, run around, drunk, you name it, whatever. All the good, bad things, right? That's what people call them. Went through that phase, and then one day I was working, I didn't tell you, I was also what they call a logging engineer. Whenever they drill a well, we monitor the gas that's coming out, or if they hit gas or they hit oil, and we would tell them, you know, and record all the good information. we used to go out on a job for months at a time, and we'd stay in the trailer, and that's where it started. I just picked up a Bible and just started reading it, and it just opens your eyes, you know. But the thing of it is, not anybody can pick up a Bible and have what I call revelation, and that's actually all I mean is the words being revealed to you. And I don't mean selected that that I'm better than you, and you know, it's he calls everybody, but not everybody responds. You know, so when you start reading and you start opening up yourself, then your eyes start becoming open, you know, because he didn't leave us helpless. He gave us his word through a human being writing it down, and then that's what it said. Yeah, but it was man. You know, man wrote it. He wrote it out, and so it's just man. But if you read it, you can realize that no, it's more than man. It's the Spirit, the Holy Spirit, that opens it up for you. You know, because He wants that communication with you. You know, He wants you be with Him and Him be with you. You know, and and that's the most profound thing, is to know that connection between you and Him is everything. Truly is everything. So, and you can imagine the connection you have now is like this, but when you go to Jerusalem, it's going to be like.
Well, let's talk about that day.
Yes.
When you do pass away, how do you want people to remember you?
That that I opened my eyes and realized that my connection with God is the most important thing. I'm married. My connection with my wife is important. But if she wasn't connected to God, I don't think we'd be together. Because He puts us in relationships, if we allow Him to. He will make that connection. I want people to realize that about me, is that I learned my lesson.
That's very important. In closing, is there anything else about you that you'd like to share with our audience that's watching this interview?
To share with them? Oh, yeah, well. Drop everything. Turn away from what you're doing if you're not with your connection with God. Make that connection. It's important for you, because it's the difference between living forever or dying in this life. And He doesn't want it to be that way. And a Christian like myself, I'm sorry, the microphone. A true Christian wants the same thing for everybody that he comes in contact with, because the truth about the hereafter and what's going to take place after we're gone is real. It's really real, and the best thing you can do is open your eyes and your heart to the truth. Anyway, I didn't mean to. What is the word? There's a word for trying to convert people to Christianity. That's not. I mean, it's not that, but I mean that's the thing that moves you towards people. You know, is to oh well, I saved this person. No, I don't. I don't buy into that. I didn't save nobody. You know, that's the thing. I don't have the power to save you. You know, you're the only one that has that power. The only one that can save you through the acceptance of Jesus Christ as your Savior, and that He died for you. So, anyway, I don't mean to ramble, but and take the moments to forgive. Definitely forgive. And love the people that you're with. Just love them like nothing else. Anyway.
Sounds good. Thank you, Patrick, for being
You're
here.
welcome, Mary.
Very good interview. Appreciate you being here today and taking the time out of your schedule to do that.